again. So this little sweetie here is called Smudge. She's a 3-year-old Appaloosa, obviously. We have her and her full sister, his 2-year-old. Her full sister is a solid color, but everybody notices this little gal. This is her first ride, official first ride on her. She's been here about 2 months, but we've had some trouble with her feet. She grows a lot of heel, and we didn't realize how quickly she grew foot, and got by us a little bit, and so she got a little sore walking on her toes. So Jeremy trimmed her down a little bit, real gradually, and so anyway, had to go a little bit slower with her than we probably could have if it wasn't for her feet. And sorry about my camera doing that. Obviously, one of my lenses was dirty, but... So here you see Jeremy riding on the side of her, just letting her get used to balancing his weight, seeing her from the other side. Sometimes you see horses and people get into trouble because they're like, oh, he was fine. He wasn't reacting at all. He acted like everything was fine. And sometimes it's them putting their head in the sand, as Jeremy calls it, where they just pretend they can't see you. Basically, they're not really mentally checked into what you're doing, and that's how come you see a lot of people step on board and everything looks fine. Well, to somebody that doesn't know better, I guess. And then the horse explodes. Well, they weren't fine. They just weren't paying attention. So anyway, he likes them to really make sure they're paying attention, of course, and know that he's there and know what it's like to balance his weight. Because once he's up there, he's up there. Of course, he can step back down again, and he likes to do that also to make sure that they're comfortable with that feeling as well, because the saddle moves sometimes, or this or that, and you don't want that to be a surprise and then have a big old blow up. So why not get them good about it first before you just go and commit? That swinging the leg over too is another thing. A lot of times people forget that they're getting on a green colt and they drag their leg across their butt, and then there goes the wreck because the horse didn't know your leg is going to touch him when you go over. Somebody that's pretty swift about getting on a colt, they don't drag their leg, but you kind of got to make sure you do that. You don't want to sneak up on them. You never want to sneak up. Jeremy says, make sure they know everything you're doing is intentional. He likes to make sure that he's got a bend on him. If he has that nice bend on him, he can talk him out of a whole lot of trouble. Plus, you're going to need that when it comes to directing them, which direction you're going. She's kind of tight, as you can tell. It's the first time she's ever really had somebody riding along on her. And I hope you all notice that he's petting her too, reassuring her, always reassuring her. He's there for her. If she gets scared, he's going to reassure her. You can't climb up aboard a colt and expect them to look after you. I really don't want to have to talk the whole time, and people watching probably don't want to have to hear me the whole time either, but I want to make sure I explain as much as I can about her. She's a pretty nice mare, but her and her sister grew up together, and her sister is the more dominant one, I guess you'd say. Not that this girl's real submissive. I mean, they both have opinions about things. So here we go. She's just gonna keep moving forward and learn how to balance his weight and understand the cues of going forward, which he kind of explained to her a little bit from the ground, but she's got to put everything together now that he's on her back. Sometimes I'll use my mare. I'll ride with him to kind of help with the momentum, but she wants to be all swishy-tailed and silly about my mare in there. Not that we couldn't get over that, but we're trying to make everything a nice, quiet, easy ride, and Jeremy didn't really need my help. He can get it done without me. I did kind of walk and move as I was videoing, as you can kind of tell here. And so me drawing her and moving because she wanted to watch me just helped her to understand what he was wanting. Of course, she has to learn that without me too, but having a little tiny bit of an aid in the beginning doesn't hurt much. And he's just going to keep asking. When she gives the correct response is when you'll see his feet stop moving. It's kind of cute if you watch her ears and her expression here. She's just putting everything together because now he's up on her back. She's carrying him. That's a lot of responsibility for a horse, and it's really cute to watch him process that first ride, especially one that's real expressive like her. I'm not sure how long I had stopped videoing in between those two clips, but it wasn't long. Nice little girl.
Get a pin.
She got herself pretty doggone relaxed here to where she just kind of wanted to go to sleep, I guess. I guess everybody's opinion would differ, but I think I'd prefer this rather than bouncing off of the edges of the corral. She's pretty confident with him up there and understanding everything, and it's almost pretty quick time to just let her soak on her lesson and think through what just happened. And her poor little feet are still a tiny bit sore, so he's gonna finish up with her as quick as he can here. We're trying to decide whether we put shoes on her or just get her boots, because with shoes on her, we can't keep bringing that heel down gradually. She wears the toe and grows the heel. So to keep her balanced, it'd be a pain in the neck to keep shoeing her every couple of weeks. So we're thinking about maybe boots for right now. But we need to discuss it with the owner and see what she'd like to do. But that's a pretty nice expression for a first ride, I'd say. And I was gonna add on the videos of her moving out more and stuff to this one, but I felt like this one was already long enough, so I think I'll do it separately. It's nice to see her tongue working there. If you watch everything, all these little bits and pieces put together, tell you she's pretty content with how things went as well, which is just about as nice as you could want it. Of course, it'd be nice if she'd move out. She obviously understands this now, and for some reason doesn't want, well, probably her feet being a little bit sore. Maybe, I don't know. You know, we could give them all the excuses in the world. It just is what it is. course, he can't quit asking now that he's started. He's just going to teach her that he didn't want anything. And I think you saw him quit asking, and all she did was lean her body forward. The minute they start thinking about it is when you going to give that release. Of course, none of us are going to be as good at it as Jeremy. He does this all the time, every day. But something to strive for. Even though this stuff is a little bit boring, I wanted to leave it in here because the release of him asking and her going ahead and moving forward was pretty important for people to see. If they pay attention to that timing, they could get a whole lot more done with their horses too. Pearl, get out. He's going to get ready to step down off of her in a second, and it's really important to make sure you're prepared when you go to do that. You're not fumbling around getting off of them. So they're prepared and ready for it.